Steven, what are you doing in there?
Drugs.
Welcome back everyone to another video. The topic will be Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Have you heard about this anime? Have you watched it? Have you seen it? Everybody's like, writing everywhere. Yes, I saw it. It was really crazy. I don't remember actually the last time that I saw such a heartwarming romance anime. We will explore all of that. So first part will be no spoiler and will be mainly about plot, about what you can expect, kind of like a recommendation for you if you want to watch it. If I don't know, maybe you're thinking, I don't know why, but maybe you're doubting it and you don't know if you're going to watch it. And second part will be an in-depth review after the watching and kind of like going over the parts that are good, that are bad, and stuff like this. And then we'll get, of course, to the judging part, right? It will be part of the second. So the story follows Rintaro, who is going to Chidori High School, which is a school for delinquents and for kind of like lower class boys. And then we have Kikyo High School, where there goes Fagori, the second main character, and Kikyo High School is basically a school for spoiled ladies, let's say. The plot is centered about these two, and it follows their high school life and basically their interconnected fate, which will be connected by some things that happen. First of all, the studio who is handling this anime is Cloverworks. So Cloverworks is a very known studio. They had a lot of good works. Their main focus is mainly on romance anime, but they also did other types of anime as well. So they are, for example, mostly known for Rascal Does Not Dream, Spy and Family, My Dress Up Darling, Bocchi the Rock, and Horimiya. So again, their main focus is on romance anime. They work with them really well. They also did The Promised Neverland, for example, too, and that was a bit of a mishap, let's say. Horimiya was also very, I think, well done, but I think the pacing was a bit, and it was maybe a bit rushed. But I still think they delivered with that one, so I wouldn't really, say it's bad. So it looks like it got into the hands of a studio that knows really well what they are doing. I think the story is pretty simple, and I think the plot is also like kind of very simple. The setting is I think really generic, but I think the execution of everything around it is done really well, and I think that's why it is so good. There has been many moments, as I did in the intro, where I was really sobbing. Over some of the moments. I think some of the moments were like super heartwarming. I think some of the moments were perfect. Like they were so cute, so warm. It was really, really great as a feeling. And I know I experienced this in past animes when I was, for example, watching Clanat. That was one of the main ones, or Toradora, for example, as well. And I remember that I literally had goosebumps when watching the Fragrant Flower. So I think the execution, the music, the moments, I think how the studio did it, I think they did it perfectly, and I think it was also well received. I think people loved it. I think the whole community can agree that it was really a success. This is what you call a success, a good story. Or the story is not, let's say, that good, I would say, but I would say the execution was perfect. So the animation is top notch. I think animation is great. The music is great. The opening is really cool. It's really nice. So I would say it is something you should watch if you are a fan of the genre. Of course, there are people who really don't like romance animes, which is completely understandable. I completely understand it, so that's completely okay. So if you are someone who really likes these cute romance animes, and he really likes the story of, let's say, these high school settings like slice of lives, definitely give it a try. I think you won't be disappointed. I think it's perfect. So with this, I think we covered the main part, the recommendations and everything. So let's move to the I would like to welcome everyone back. We are now in the judging part with my hammer, and now we can talk. This will contain spoilers, so keep that in mind. Let's get this off the table right away. The moment when she was basically explaining her point of view to Rintaro at the end, you know, how she saw it, that she was the first who fell in love and everything like this, that was absolutely like crazy, and it was super nice. And I saw this kind of concept where you see the POV from one, from the other in some other animes, but I think this just added a little bit, you know, the cherry on top to really make this season absolutely perfect. So the anime also continues, like, you know, in the manga, and in the manga they also kiss. They also have multiple kisses, and there is, I definitely highly recommend to also dive into the manga. I think I binged the manga in, like, I don't know, maybe an evening. I really just went straight to the manga after the anime. I straight up like just read it. I was mainly curious about how Saku and how Subaru ended, or I mean, how their story, let's say, progressed, because it was a bit hinted, you know, in the anime, but it was not really, let's say, they didn't focus on it a lot because they had like 13 episodes, so they really wanted to focus mainly on Rintaro and Waguri. And also the story was not really focusing on Saku and Subaru. But since Rintaro and Waguri, you know, are together, let's say after the anime, the confession, and now boyfriend, girlfriend, now the story also focused also on the other characters. And Saku Subaru is something I was like really waiting. I was sometimes even like flying past some chapters just to see how they work it together. And I must say it is a bit disappointing because I think the story has their ups and downs. I will let you decide and go see for yourself in the manga. What do you think? But you know, I think their story is still not closed. I think it is still open, and a lot of things can happen. But I'm a huge Saku Subaru fan, so if you are one as well, then my bro. So let's get to the judging. So pros are animation. I think the whole execution, the music, the moments, the build up, like some of the cutest scenes were really focused on, like, animation wise, and like directing. It was perfect. I think it was really Cloverworks really did a great job. Same as Dress Up Darlings, same as Rascal, for example, same as Spy and Family. I think they really are good with romance anime. So I hope they will continue with this and they will pick up even more of them. So that was good. I think they did also a great job of putting all the main events and everything that is important for, let's say, the first parts of the manga into 13 episodes, which I think is very hard. So I think this was also executed really perfectly. Now let's move to the cons. So for the cons, I think the story is a con, at least for now. I know that in the manga the story will progress and will move on. So of course it's just 13 episodes, so you cannot like put everything in there, right? So it's more like kind of me personally not liking the story in the first 13 episodes, but because I think it's very generic. But it then progresses, like Rintaro with the bakery, Rintaro with getting a job there and stuff like this, and then Waguri as well. So I think it will progress in the manga, so that's fine. But for these 13 episodes, I think the story could maybe, you know, put more focus on the story itself. But I think they did a perfect job anyway. So I highly suggest this to everyone. I judge this absolutely worth it. I think for romance anime, I think it's absolutely perfect. I think it's a gem. I think finally, after some of the animes that we saw in the last couple of months or maybe even years, this is an absolute must watch. I would dare to say that I think it's even better than My Dress Up Darling. This is just straight up cute. This is if you just want to cry your head off, if you just want to, like, literally just watch something that absolutely warms you in the winter. This is exactly it. This is exactly it. So highly suggest, and I praise it as worth it. So it passes. And yeah, go watch the manga. I think it's great. If you're a fan of Saku Subaru, you will find also some of the answers. So definitely highly recommend. And yeah, thank you for watching. Like and subscribe. It really helps me because I'm a really small creator. So any like, any subscribe really means the world to me. So if you did, thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video.